Hi guys, welcome to my video and my channel, and today is a pretty personal topic about my culture and my experiences with it. And I know it's not something that people really talk about, like their experience with like internalized racism and going from hating their culture and being insecure about it. But now that I've reached the point where I can say I'm proud to be Chinese and I love to embrace it now and I really want to connect more with it, I feel like I wanted to talk about this topic. Especially I feel like in the past year, even China's progression has made people's reactions to it different in a more positive way. Let's start off with how I was born into Australia. So obviously at first I feel like every immigrant born into a country that isn't their own ethnicity will face some sort of dilemma with feeling like not being normal. But I'm also very glad that I was raised in a more multicultural environment. Primary school, I knew people from all different ethnicities and I didn't feel too out of place. But as I kept moving schools, I did end up going to like a predominantly white school, and I was like one of the only 5 Asians, and I started to really feel like a divide. But at that time I was like 10. I really liked Asian things like anime and K-pop and stuff like that. That's another thing I wanted to talk about, because as the years went on and like Korea and Japan seemed like really glamorized and romanticized through these media, I feel like a lot of people, when they saw Asian, like East Asian, they just thought about those countries and didn't really care about China, kind of dismissed it. Personally, as like a little kid who liked anime and K-pop, I guess I would be like slightly jealous that I wasn't one of those Asians, but it just seemed like those cultures were more interesting. And I even learned Korean and Japanese, and yet during that time I wouldn't really want to learn Chinese, which is kind of funny. And in that time I even went to Japan and Korea, so like China was just in the back of my head. But as a young teenager I also started noticing like the strict tradition and like the societal and family expectations, and also as COVID came around in this time, all the negative stereotypes kind of just all came to my awareness. And we can't deny how COVID had a really big impact on Chinese people, because it did impact like the whole world. But the racism I would see online perpetuated towards like Chinese Americans or Chinese Australians, I felt like so hurt, and I wish I was a Chinese and all these kind of things. And it was also kind of this age where like your parents want you to be really smart and like high achievers. I actually was like a studious high achiever. In my early teens I was in like the top classes, I'd get the top mark. I was in the top math class, I went to a selective stream, like I used to get like 90 to 100 on my math tests. But then I started to realize how much I didn't like that culture and how I wanted to pursue other things that had more meaning to me. But at this time with my family, I just kept seeing the negatives, and with my culture I just kind of wanted to neglect it. And I don't want to say this just happens to Chinese people. I'm pretty sure almost every ethnicity will have some kind of experience like this, but if not, that's also a good thing, to fully accept your culture from the beginning. So like wishing you a different ethnicity or something like that can probably apply to a lot of people, but I want to spread the message to truly embrace every part of yourself and really appreciate your own culture, because every single culture is beautiful. And I'm someone where diverse cultures like means a lot to me, especially living in a multicultural planet. I feel like it's so beautiful to see how different cultures operate and the different kind of things that they bring, such as like music and cuisines, styles, ideas. And I'm also someone who loves music a lot, and I love listening to different culture music. Obviously I listen to genres like R&B and hip-hop, but I also love listening to other languages like Korean songs, Chinese songs, Afrobeats, and even Caribbean music and even French music. So I listen to all kinds of things, and I love being aware of the beauty that every culture has to offer. Personally, changing my perspective and mindset of China is I started to realize all the positive things that it brings. And I went to China last year for the first time in 5 years, and it was such a great experience. I even got to meet some of my Chinese family that I never met before, got to talk to them, talk about the differences between our countries. I went to Shenzhen and Shanghai, and they were really beautiful and really advanced. I ran out of storage, so I'm back. But also with a lot of China's recent innovations, I feel like on a global stage they have kind of progressed positively, which I'm also glad that the world is also starting to know, including their new film Neza, which I actually made a video talking about a little bit of this topic. But that movie is the top grossing animated film ever, reaching 2 billion plus in the market. It was a great movie, I really liked it, and I watched it recently. And also a lot of progressions like their AI DeepSeek and their electric cars like BYD, Xiaomi, and even just their social media like Douyin, which is TikTok, and Xiaohongshu. But also along with that, I'm starting to see more of the beauty in Chinese culture, because the language is like one of the most complicated systems in the world, and being like born into that heritage, I feel like have a bit of an advantage to get to know the language, because if you didn't have any background it is so hard to learn. But because there's such a big population, it's an important language to learn. So are others, but just speaking from my experience. And I also start to see more appreciation of the culture, the traditional culture, and it looks so beautiful to me. Even recently with like their culture, it's kind of changing more. I feel like there's a lot more creative people compared to before, maybe even 5 years ago. But the main thing I appreciate that I got to learn is to accept your culture beyond the stereotypes, beyond beyond what even the society of that culture expects. You can embrace and love that part of yourself, but also be on your own path. For example, there's a lot more that I'm exposed to being in Australia, and I just feel like it's an important message for every single person to be proud of who they are and where they come from, and all feel comfortable in your own ethnicity, because I know there's definitely a lot of stereotypes attached to each different races. So I want to encourage everyone to embrace their heritage, but not be limited to it. So if you do appreciate other cultures, to educate yourself on them, spread your awareness into other cultures, and appreciate everything the world has to offer, because especially as we're so connected by like technology these days, we can learn anything we want. Also, ethnicity is like something you cannot change about yourself. You can change your appearance, career, but you cannot change who you actually are. I want everyone to learn to love who they are and also accept every other culture, no matter what it is. And I hope we all accept and unite together. Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and please like and subscribe if this resonated, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.